their life to represent what's right. You talked about the young guy who just, what's his name, in the mountains?
Brother Nelson.
Whatever, just to defend himself for this. So the young generation is not looking at this no more. And you go to countries, the word black and white, those are English terms. So that's an American thing, but it is a color thing. And we try to get away from that. And the real representative who gonna speak for truth, the real leader who gonna speak for truth will face opposition, because this whole country is founded on falsehood. And anything opposing falsehood has to fight back to stay prevalent and prominent.
I mean, like you said, it's the leader that they give us, man. And it's like most of the people, it's like they give you a leader. It's like a leader that the white establishment endorses. So they say, well, this is your leader. And then they got everybody saying, arguing about, okay, is Jesse our leader or is Al our leader? Or is Obama going to be the leader? And so, but the media creates these leaders. That's why Minister said a few years ago, man, he told the youth, you got to be the leader. You got, and the youth are the leader.
That's
man. You
what's
talked
happening.
about hip hop. I cut out an article from the newspaper about a month ago, man, that was talking about over in Japan where monks and nuns in the Buddhist temple is using hip hop to attract people to come back to the temple. And, hip hop is all over, everywhere. Man, I was in Saudi Arabia 11 years ago, 12 years ago. They had graffiti all on the walls. All over the walls over there. In the Middle East, it was graffiti everywhere. And when you, in any town that you go to, man, when you see a lot of graffiti on the walls and on buildings and stuff, this is a cry from the youth saying that we being oppressed. We being repressed. So we screaming out for some help. Will you listen to us? And the thing exactly is that the system is not listening to the youth.
So hip-hop, actually, it has not only transcended all cultures, it is the medium for which corporate America advertises any product they want to advertise. So with that said, not to negate the fact, so Eracism or Eracism Records, we don't get up there, kill Whitey. That's really not a solution for ending racism. But you see how the white guys with the dreads, now they sagging. Not to say that's black culture, but they not looking at that. And the parents are starting to say this is getting out of hand.
Hey,
so
but
now,
wait a minute, hold up. Something that you just said, you not saying kill Whitey, but what is it when you see the little white kid with the dreadlocks?
He's killing the mind frame.
He's
the mind
killing
frame
the
of
mind.
white supremacy.
That's
how you end racism. So, but it's not just that. It's the mind frame of white supremacy. See, that's it. That's what this country is founded on. The New World Order. We talk about the Illuminati. These are all things that the average person does not see, but they feel it, the tension. They can't see racism because it's modernized now, but the conscious mind recognizes it. So we've heard where they traded in the white mask and sheets for black robes. They're not riding in on horses now. They got the badge now. But then you say, but there's black police too. So, well, listen, what's in power? What's in power?
But in slavery,
and who controls what is dictated? Who controls the agenda? Who shapes and molds the mind of the youth? Getting back to that movie, The Great Debaters, Denzel made it clear, and it's true. Poets, anyone who have the gift of speech and has no fear or doubt can shape and mold the mind of the youth. That's what that movie is about. And it shows, and it was so ingenuous. I think it's Hollywood's way of giving back, saying, you know what, we got to let some truth get through. We can't water coat everything. Oprah Winfrey, Hollywood, what you want to say? If any youth see that, black or white, in particular the young black, poor, depressed and deprived, they see that, they know automatically to eliminate fear and doubt out of their repertoire as far as standing up for what they believe in. But if you have the gift of speech and you can talk with no fear, no doubt, you can shape and mold the mind of the listener. And he talked about the poets. So that's why Eracism Records fights racism with hip-hop, with poetry. So when you hear me speak, or when I do the poetry, it was mostly white. It shocked me. It was mostly white people at the parade. It was blacks. They was in the choir singing. Most of the entertainment, black folks. But in the audience, in support was white people. But when the white keynote speaker got up there, the audience diminished. When I came back up there, I looked up, cameras all on the stage. And I'm talking, you need to hear some of the poem I did. I'm not talking no dream, dream, dream. I'm saying, you still dreaming? I would say stuff like, you know, dreams from the standpoint of, they say they packed us like sardines, head to head and tail to tail. And if history hasn't repeated itself, that's the prison and county jail. And they'd look up and be like, I said I wanted to do a love poem for the ladies, for the snaps and claps, with my version of Love Jones. But maybe on the next poem. Because it's the 08, 09 version of Vietnam and the Middle East ain't done a damn thing to me. And if history hasn't repeated itself, the effects are our reality, but slavery is our reality. And it's a known fact that if the animal becomes endangered, the next stage is extinct. And if you don't understand extinct, that means gone within a blink. And if the thought of black folks becoming extinct doesn't move you, then maybe you move on instinct. And this poem is for you, animals. Brother, the keynote speaker was a Latino chick. She said, thank you, because they're making me look bad as if I'm not putting on a good hosting. Hosting for the Martin Luther King. This is entertainment now. So since y'all want to entertain, okay.
That's what's up.
Since it's a circus, let's
That's what's up.
sneak in
And
the
that's I want to go back to something you both touched on earlier, and that is choosing our leaders. And you know, the thing is, that's why, in my view, they push King the Dreamer, because they don't want us to know that after 1963, after Dr. Martin Luther King made the I Have a Dream speech, subsequent to that, he became Time's Man of the Year, right? But shortly thereafter, 66, 67, after he met with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, like you mentioned, and he started to speak against the Vietnam War.
Oh my God.
He talked about the war on poverty, or you know what I'm saying? And then after this, it said with words like these, after he started speaking on those subjects, Dr. King went from Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1963 after the Dream speech to one guilty of demagogic slander that sounded like a script from Radio Hanoi in the eyes of that same magazine.
Ultimate hypocrisy. I don't know what
Now
else.
look at that. Now look at that. But they
hypocrisy.
pumped. This is during the later years of his life.
But that's characteristic of even leaders that they accept, even black people that they accept. You'll see that they'll build these Negroes up like Colin Powell, and then they'll publicly humiliate and tear them down on
Yes,
TV.
sir. Absolutely.
So, you know and this is the thing
That's
that
crazy. Go
this
ahead.
is the thing that happens. This is the thing that happens
Right.
over and over and over again.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
#1 tour. And you know what? From Michael Jackson, I got it in the piece.
There
of
you
Michael.
go.
You know what? Michael Jackson, you know, to all our viewers, this is not about this here. But in the United States, and you have to recognize that if you play piano, you call it a pianist. If you play the violin, you call it a violinist. When dealing with races, you hear what I'm saying? When you're dealing with race issues, it's all right to be titled that. But from the American standpoint, we kind of subtitle races with prejudice. That's not necessarily the case. So as you live and continue to live, every non-white American, and even some white Americans, will experience, if you're not conforming to the way of white supremacy, you will be not only repressed, rejected, despised. So I don't care how high you get, how much money you make. Michael Jackson make more money than
Right.
You know what? Michael Jackson went from, it don't matter if you're black or white,
Right.
to they don't really care about us.
Right.
He witnessed racism. I don't care who you are,
Sure
you're gonna witness it. So Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, any prominent leader that rises to the top does not conform to the Illuminati, the New World Order, the white supremacist doctrines and foreign policies that this government was founded on.
Right.
You will either buckle, get killed, and the only way that I see that process changing is that we do something we've never done since before slavery, and that's unite, despite your religion, despite your hue, light-skinned, dark-skinned, how big
how
you
much
are,
money you
how
make.
much money you make.
Right.
The only way that's gonna change is if we get out of the color and get on common grounds and realize if it's not quality, equality, justice, and liberty for all, I believe white America even gonna fight against themselves.
They fighting against it.
What is happening?
now,
And,
as
and
we
then
speak.
we really,
You know?
black Americans really can just, they gonna get caught up in it too, because they caught up in the